Here we go, Preetham. Here's your first question. For Naruto's 10th anniversary, many mangakas got together to celebrate by drawing the iconic series in their own style. The creator of which manga styled Naruto's hair to be reminiscent of his son Wukong inspired main character who goes on a quest to summon a wish granting creature? 10 seconds.
One Piece?
Not that. Nikhil?
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, this is Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z. And your next one, Preetham. Which character from a 1994 film sports a beanie of this style? He often combined it with a pair of round sunglasses while engaging in his violent full-time profession.
Leon the Professional?
Is right. And your third, Karan Johar's Rocky or Rani Ki Prem Kahani or RRKPK is full of old Bollywood song references. What Jhumka, one of the more popular songs in the movie, samples the track Girare from which 1966 movie starring Sunil Dutt and Sadhna? Ten seconds or so.
Hmm. I'll just say Bareilly Ki Bazaar.
Not that. Vinoo?
Pass.
Passing to Jimmy
Pass.
and Nikhil.
Yeah, I'll pass. Non-comp though. It's not
Yeah,
Caravan, is it? No, that's not 66.
not that. This is the film called
Mera
Mera
Saya.
Saya.
Oh, Sadhna. Okay. Hmm.
Nikhil, that brings us to your three. In Modern Family, Phil Dunphy constantly invented ways to answer the phone with words that either rhymed or punned with the traditional hello. What greeting, a word rhyming with hello, followed this prompt? What's the most dangerous type of uranium cake?
Yellow?
Is right. Your second. Identify this gospel singer, one of the first people to bring the distorted guitar sound to the forefront with her electric stage presence while performing tracks like Rock Me and This Strain. Fondly called the godmother of rock and roll, she would go on to inspire countless musicians after her.
Harp?
Harp is right, yeah. Good
Sister
answer.
Rosetta Tharpe.
That's precisely it. And your third one. The encyclopedia, published in France between 1751 and 1772, is most famous for representing the thought of the Enlightenment. Which philosopher, along with John de Alembert, was its chief editor, writing around 7,000 articles? He also penned the essays Letter on the Deaf and Dumb and Letter on the Blind.
Diderot.
Yep. We know your three. Duck architecture, also called mimetic architecture, is the term used to describe buildings that represent items or activities that are associated with them. The big duck, which inspired the coinage of the term, was commissioned by an American poultry farmer to sell what consumables? I didn't hear you, Vinu.
Eggs.
Is right, yeah. But I did see you mouth your answer. Your second. The opening sequence of Silicon Valley was an ever changing montage of logos mirroring business developments of the real world. The intro for season 4, set in 2017, depicted the green colored logo of what platform being attached to Twitter and then quickly tossed in the trash?
Wine.
is right. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
nice.
okay. Nice one. And your third. The Farm, an urban integrated farm in Chennai, launched a special menu called a Botanist Diet at their restaurant to showcase the diversity of plant families. Which plant genus, along with Amaranthaceae, do all the vegetables on this plate belong to? The dish includes charred bok choy, roasted cauliflower, and radish cream drizzled with mustard oil. The genus gets its name from the Latin word for cabbage.
Brassicaceae.
You want a slightly modified answer?
Brassica.
Yeah, that is accepted. It's Brassica or Brassicaceae.
Oh,
But yeah, you got it right. Jimmy, you're three now. The Richard Meyer designed campus of which American museum that includes a notable photography collection served as the Starfleet headquarters in Star Trek Into Darkness?
The Getty?
It is the Getty, yeah.
Okay, the collection.
Your second. The artist of which manga drew Naruto unleashing an attack here? This capability to effortlessly kill enemies presumably comes from a workout regimen of 100 push ups, 100 sit ups, 100 squats, and a 10-kilometer run every single day.
Uh, One Punch Man?
Is right. And the last question for the round. Polish artist Magdalena Abanakowicz was known for her use of textiles as a medium and her soft sculptures that came to be called abakans. She was a pioneer of what art style or movement known for its use of natural or synthetic blank, the filaments that act as building block for textiles?
Fiber?
Yeah, this is the fiber art movement. Back to you, Preetham, for round two. Identify this knot that employs a specific method of single-handed tying, since the other hand is occupied holding the entity integral to one's game. Users of this knot are certain field sport professionals who were referred to as hawkers until it came to refer to petty traders. Until that term came to refer to petty traders.
Falcon.
Yeah, this is a falconer's knot. Nice answer. Second. The intro for season 4 of Silicon Valley, set in 2017, depicted little FBI trucks driving up and parking outside the building of its startup. Its tagline was, "One tiny drop changes everything."
Theranos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your third one. In this painting, Paul Signac depicts the port of which city serving as the capital of the Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur region. It is famous for an eponymous soap and for its bouillabaisse.
Marseille.
And you get 3 on 3 in this round. That is
Didn't know about the
incorrect.
soap.
Yeah,
But
Marseille
only
soap is in the same realm
uh,
as Aleppo soap.
Ah,
And Nikhil, your three. Which character from a 1989 sequel sports a color shifting baseball cap of this style? His eccentric elderly friend predicted that such apparel would be in vogue decades down the line. First or last name accepted.
Marty McFly.
Yeah. And your next. The artist of which manga reimagined Naruto in his typical realistic style? The depiction was compared by fans to Giorno Giovanna, a character from this series about a family with intense strength to fight supernatural threats.
Say Full Metal Alchemist.
Not Full Metal Alchemist. Vinoo?
Pass.
To Jimmy?
Yes.
Goes to Preetham.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventures.
Is right. Yeah.
Oh, Giorno Giovanna must be Jojo.
Yeah, there's
Shit.
some funda
Yeah.
about I
Yeah.
think characters being named
Shit.
that way. Yeah.
Yeah, they all go on to start with J subsequently.
Mhm.
And Nikhil, your third one for the round. Tom Twyker's The International features a shootout damaging the interiors of which museum in New York City, whose main gallery was described by its architect as his take on the rotunda.
So this is say the Guggenheim.
It is the Guggenheim. Yeah. Vinoo, let's continue with you. Identify this rock and roll singer who was inspired by the screams and crescendos in Sister Rosetta Tharpe's music and went on to deliver hits such as Whole Lot of Shaking Going On and Breathless. This killer is arguably best known for his track Great Balls of Fire.
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yep. And your second. Which character from a 1977 film sports a floppy bowler hat of this style? The hat is considered the finishing touch to the role's khaki pants, vest, and tie, resulting in the very antithesis of a New York girl.
Hall.
I think I heard it. This is Annie Hall. And your third one, Vinoo. The languages of the Het, the people of the Patagonian pampas, went extinct after they were decimated by epidemics during the 18th century. Research indicates that they were influenced by which culturally related indigenous peoples, now primarily inhabiting Paraguay, with a faction of the Het being referred to as the Querandi.
Guarani.
Yeah, these are the Guarani. And Jimmy, your three. When Rani's grandmother, played by Shabana Azmi, comes to meet Rocky's grandfather, played by Dharmendra, after a gap of 34 years, he sings Abhi Na Jao Chotkar, a song they had fond memories of. This track appears in which 1961 movie, starring Dev Anand in a double role along with Sadhna?
Pass.
Passing to Vinoo.
Hum Dono.
Hum Dono is right. Yeah. Good steal. Jimmy, you're next. Which traditional epic poem features a titular hero based on Bars Bek, the first Khagan of the Kyrgyz Khaganate, and narrates his clash with the Oirat leader Jaloy? Kyrgyz historians inaccurately consider it to be the longest epic poem in history, as it has more verses, although much shorter than the Sanskrit epic Mahabharata.
Hmm.
Few more seconds, Jimmy.
Just gonna pass.
Preetham?
Manas.
Yeah, this is the epic of Manas.
Nice.
And your next one. What greeting, a pun on hello by Phil Dunphy, followed this prompt? Quick, nature's surefire sunburn remedy.
Aloe.
Aloe is right.
Okay. Nice.
Nicely done. Back to you, Preetham. Another example of duck architecture could be seen in Bondurant's in Kentucky. What kind of establishment was Bondurant's? The style alludes to the tradition of using a mortar and pestle to grind bespoke mixtures for customers in need.
Pharmacy.
Hmm.
Yeah,
You got an RX there. So,
yeah.
nice clue.
Well spotted. Chemist, druggist, yeah, all those accepted answers. Which philosopher wrote several articles, including Eloquence, Idle, and Imagination, for the Encyclopedia? His most famous work is about its titular protagonist leading a sheltered life in an Edenic paradise and being indoctrinated with a Leibnizian optimism by his mentor. Ten seconds, Preetham.
Hobbes?
Not him. Jimmy?
Voltaire?
Voltaire it is.
Indeed.
Indeed. And Preetham, you're next. Ferris Bueller's Day Off was spent wisely with a visit to which American museum that boasts Nighthawks and American Gothic among its permanent collection?
Uh, Art Institute of Chicago?
Is right. Nikhil, yours. The intro for season 6 of Silicon Valley, set in 2019, introduced a fleet of red vehicles belonging to which company alongside its competitors Postmates and Uber Eats? It is today the market leader in the US sector.
I don't know what's there. Is it Deliveroo?
Not Deliveroo. Vinoo?
DoorDash.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
called
of course.
DoorDash.
DoorDash.
That's what it is. And Nikhil, you're next. In this painting, Paul Signac captures the port of which town on the French Riviera? This favorite haunt of the jet set is named after an early Christian martyr from Pisa.
Saint-Tropez?
Yeah, well worked out. And your third. In RRK PK, the song Aaj Mausam Bada Baiman Hai was picturized on Dharmendra and Shabana Azmi in the rain. This was a nod to which 1973 movie starring Dharmendra alongside Mumtaz?
Say loafer.
And you'll be right. Great answer. Vinu, your owns. The epic poem Banu Goshapnama is among the oldest epics about a woman warrior in Persian literature. Banu Goshasp is the daughter of which legendary hero, best known for his tragic fight with Esfandiar, the other legendary Iranian hero? This Marzban of Sistan's life was immortalized by Ferdowsi in the Shahnameh.
Rustam.
Yeah, this is Rustam. What greeting, a word rhyming with hello by Phil Dunphy's friend Kenneth, followed this prompt? Hey Luke, what instrument does Yo-Yo Ma play?
Cello.
Yeah. And your third. The artist of which manga drew Naruto in this dark, edgy style? A similar hairstyle was used to depict the Shinigami, the gods of death, witnessing mortals like Light Yagami kill others in this series.
Pass.
Jimmy?
Death Note?
Yeah. And that brings us to your three owns, Jimmy. What plant genus, along with umbellifers, do all the vegetables on this plate belong to? The dish is made using onions, leeks, chives, shallots, and spring onions. Deriving from Latin for to smell or Greek for to jump out, it is the scientific name of garlic, one of the genus members.
Allium.
Yeah.
Like alley. Nice.
Yeah. You can, or
Alley-oop. Alley-oop also kind of similar etymology. Nice.
Next one for Jimmy. Which character from a 1971 film sports a derby hat of this style? A juvenile delinquent by nature, he shares a fondness for spiked milk and Beethoven's music. Again, first or last name is accepted.
Alex?
Yeah, good enough.
DeLarge.
DeLarge, yeah. Alex DeLarge. And the last one for the round. Bondurant's, the structure from the previous question in the quad, changed hands but remodeled into another example of duck architecture. What kind of establishment is it now, featuring salt crystals on its rim along with a maraschino cherry sticking out of the top?
Um, a bar?
Yeah, that is accepted. It's technically a
And
liquor
liquor
store.
shop. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but we will accept all
Okay.
logical equivalents.
Nice.
Hard to really disambiguate.
Hmm.
Okay, 3 rounds done. Still very, very close. Preetham, your question. The Potiguara people today inhabit Paraiba, but the language they spoke died out in the 1970s. It belonged to a family named for which indigenous peoples, who, along with the Guarani, were the largest in Brazil before its colonization. Their influence still runs strong with words such as jaguar, pirhana, capoeira, and tapioca tracing back to them. Could you say that again, Preetham?
2P.
Yeah. Second one. Identify this bluesman who performed at a seminal concert with Sister Rosetta Tharpe in a rain-soaked Manchester in the mid-1960s. Tharpe, along with this singer of Manish Boy and Hoochie Coochie Man, left behind a profound effect on the members of the Yardbirds in the audience.
Pass.
Nikhil?
Muddy Waters.
Yeah, this is Muddy Waters. Nice steal there. And Preetham, your third. Which epic recounting the heroic deeds of the titular lord of the legendary kingdom of Ling is an oral tradition practiced by Tibetan, Mongolian, Balti, and Ladakhi bards. Reputed as one of the longest epics of the world, the Tibetan version of the plot took shape after a Turk Shahi ruler drove an intrusive Arab army out of Gandhara in the 8th century.
Pass.
Passing to Nikhil.
Yeah, no clue. Pass.
Vinoo?
Pass.
Jimmy?
Pass.
Passing as well. Going as an X. This is the epic of
Oh.
King Gesar or
Caesar.
Caesar.
Oh,
And it comes
so
from
like Caesar.
Caesar, Rome Caesar. Yeah.
Hmm.
Nikhil, your 3. For this installation, Abakanowitz created rounded forms woven from various rough-hewn fabrics. Made to reflect the development of human and animal nervous systems, they were named after what initial stage of development that means fetus in Greek?
Embryo.
Is right. The embryology series by her. Another example of duck architecture can be seen in the headquarters of Asahi Group Holdings, who manufacture and sell what consumable. The slanting white panels over the amber windows represents the head, while the golden flame in the building next door represents the fizz.
Yeah, I'm not sure I see the resemblance, but I think Asahi is beer. So
Yeah, Asahi is beer.
okay.
I think it's meant to be a bit abstract. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
what you mean.
I mean, yeah, compared to the others, which are like very comical style,
And
not
out
as
there.
subtle. Yeah. So duck
Yeah,
architecture. Hmm.
And yours, Nikhil. Which plant family do all the vegetables on this plate belong to? The dish includes aubergines, potatoes, green chilies, sundakai, and mantakalli in various forms. You may provide its Latin name deriving from the flower's resemblance to the sun, or its English name deriving from its preferred conditions of growth.
Say Solanum.
That is accepted, yeah.
Is
Shall
it
I
just
misplace
root
or randomly?
vegetables or
It's called
nightshade?
nightshades,
Ah,
and either
okay.
prefer the night or the shade.
Yeah, right.
We know your 3. Identify this knot used in electrical wiring as strain relief to prevent a cable from being pulled from terminals. It, however, gets its name from a different group of professionals who paid importance to these type of knots when they evaluated and assumed the risk of ensuring potential accidents or fires.
Actuaries.
Could you say that again?
Actuaries.
Not actuaries. Jimmy?
I'll just pass.
Preetham
Underwriter?
is the right answer. Nice steal.
That's what I was
See the
thinking, and I
word,
was
see the
trying to
word count.
count the letters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, underwriters. Not. I think Vinoo may have jumped the gun there a little
Yeah,
bit.
I missed the word letter count.
Well,
Your next one, Vinoo,
actuarial would be no. That would also not be 12. Yeah.
wouldn't. Which museum in Atlanta is regarded as among the first to commit to photography as an art medium and stood in for the Museum of Great Britain in Black Panther?
Find the image?
Hmm.
No,
Yeah, I can.
it doesn't say.
Yeah, it's from the film, so it won't say.
Yeah. Martin Luther King Museum.
Not that. Jimmy,
I do not know. Pass.
passing to Nikhil.
A pass for me as well.
Yeah, and Preetham,
Pass.
passing.
It's not a Hartsfeld Jackson museum, is there?
No, it's something called the High Museum of Art.
Okay.
And Vinoo, your third one.
The high.
Which philosopher contributed entries on music and economy for the encyclopedia, later getting into an argument with John D'Alembert over the entry for Geneva, the city this thinker was born in? His epistolary novel, Julie, or the New Eloise, was instrumental to the rise of Romanticism in fiction.
So,
Yeah, this is Rousseau. Jimmy, your 3. In this painting, Paul Signac captures the port of which city on the French Riviera? This once home of Picasso was named by the Greeks for being located on the opposite side of Nice. Ten seconds, Jimmy.
Oh man, I don't think I have anything. Toulouse.
Not Toulouse. Nikhil?
This Antibes?
It is on tape, yeah.
So anti.
Yeah,
Nice.
anti, yeah, that's where it comes from. Well worked out. Jimmy, a second. Identify this knot, which has 2 adjustable loops in opposite directions that can be tightened to secure things within the loops. In spite of having no real locking mechanism, this may be used by certain officials in the absence of a pair of metal entities they normally carry.
Guess I'll call it handcuff knot.
And you've got the right name. Yeah.
The jailer's knot?
The policeman's knot.
Okay.
Policeman's knot or the handcuff knot. I think jailer's is different.
Yeah. No, I was thinking about the key. I wasn't thinking about handcuffs. That's good.
And Jimmy, a third. The languages of the Puelche people were reportedly lost due to Araucanization, wherein the cultural elements of which indigenous inhabitants of the region was asserted over other Patagonian natives. Originally from a vast region dubbed as Araucania by the Spanish, today they make up over 80% of the indigenous peoples in Chile.
Mapuche?
It is the Mapuche. Going into the last round, Nikhil with a bit of lead. Good luck. This installation by Abakanowitz at the south end of Grand Park, Chicago, consists of 106 headless and armless iron sculptures. She likened her milling figures to the crowds that would assemble at what central open meeting place of ancient Greek city-states?
Agora?
Yeah. Which plant family do all the vegetables on this plate belong to? The star of the dish is a handwo inspired bread made from gods, which is topped with melon seeds, zucchini swirls, pumpkin mayonnaise, and watermelon ketchup. The family gets its name from the Latin word for god.
Kukurbete?
Nicely done.
Nice.
Cucurbitaceae. And your third. What greeting, a pun on hello by Phil Dunphy, followed this prompt? What's the first best person shooter about genetically modified space marines?
Halo?
Yeah, this is Halo. And Nikhil, your three. Patagon in Peru and Tamanacu in Brazil are examples of extinct members of a South American language family named for which large indigenous group of the Northeast South America? These mainlanders speak a different language from the islanders of the same name in the Antilles, who lent their name for the entire region and its sea.
Carib.
Yeah, these are the Carib people. That's why you get the Caribbean Sea. A couple of other names they go by. The national epic of Armenia is based on folk tales of its main hero, who drove Arab Egyptian invaders out of the region. Although it was considered lost following the Armenian genocide, academics worked to produce a 4-cycle compilation under what title? You may also provide the hero's name along with the ancient region that appears in the title. Ten seconds.
Say Artabazus.
Not that. Vinoo?
So you want the ancient region or you want something else apart?
No, there are two names it goes by. If you know the name of the epic, I'll accept it. Yeah.
No, pass.
Yeah. Jimmy?
I think I know only have the hero, so I'm going to pass if I have that at
Okay.
all. So pass.
Preetham
David of Sassoon?
is the right answer. Yeah.
Well,
Oh.
don't
It
have
goes
that
by
at
the
all.
more
Nice.
popular name Daredevils of Sassoon, but it's also called as
Good.
David of Sassoon.
Nice.
That's what it is.
Oh,
Hero's name
nice.
along with the ancient region. Yeah. That's a great answer, Preetham. And Nikhil, your last own. Identify this knot used commonly to secure the opening of a sack or bag. Historically, large sacks often contain grains to be processed, and therefore this knot is named after one of the oldest human occupations. So much so that it is a popular common surname across Europe.
Call it a miller's knot.
Yeah, this is called the miller's knot. It's a sack of flour you see there. All right, Vinoo. In this painting, Paul Signac depicts the papal palace, a rich French city located along the Rhone River. 7 popes resided here from 1309 to 76 due to a conflict started by Philip IV.
Avignon.
Yep. A recurring reference in RRKPK is the usage of Baba Segal's song Aja Meri Gaadi Mein Baith Ja, from which 1998 movie starring Baba Segal himself and Sheba, who also makes a cameo in RRKPK. The film's title is presumably inspired from a 1955 Raj Kapoor film. Ten seconds, Vinod.
Oh, man. Pass. Very well.
Jimmy?
Pass.
Nikhil?
It's an Avara.
Not that. Preetham?
I'll try Srimati 420.
Well, I think you gave the 1955 film. This is called
Oh,
Miss
Miss.
420.
Oh,
The other was Shri 420, valiant attempt. And Vinoo, your last own. Abakanowitz's later sculptures started to take on strange hybrid forms. Created as a reminder that humans were formed as a result of certain biological alterations, she referred to them by what term, also used for those born with the X gene in the Marvel Universe?
Mutant.
Yeah. And Jimmy, your 3. Identified this rock and roll singer was heavily inspired by Sister Rosetta Tharpe's stage act and vocal chops, evidently from his performances of Tutti Frutti and Long Tall Sally. Tharpe's visit to his town in Georgia while he was a scrawny teenager ended up with him performing on stage with her.
Little Richard.
Yep. Second. Which philosopher was requested for his views for democracy and despotism, but instead wanted to write an essay on gout, literally taste, for the encyclopedia. He gained popularity through his satirical Persian letters, and his later work, The Spirit of Law, influenced the founding fathers of the US.
Montesquieu.
Correct. And the final question. The intro for season 6 of Silicon Valley, set in 2019, showed a building belonging to which company exploding following which it gets replaced by Amazon Books. Its logo includes an and symbol.
Barnes & Noble.
And that takes you to 14 points and tied second.
Good match.
Thanks,
Good
folks.
match. Good match.
Good
Yeah,
Nice.
thanks a lot.
Thanks.
That's a lot of fun.
Thanks a
A lot of
ton.
fun. Yeah.
okay.
Thanks for playing.
Thanks. Good fun.